Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. Today we are going to complete the assembly of our cotton cuts, and here is the directions that you will get. So it's showing you how it's pieced together, and so they gave us an A, which is a square down here at the bottom. You can see an A right there, and a strip, that's an F, so that'll be added to it along with these directions. And then when you flip your page, and I've done it so that each page has its own directions on it, it wants you to quilt the center part first, or sew it and attach it. So this is what we're going to go with. And I've got it laid out here on the table, so let's go over here and take a look at it, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, so I know that a lot of you don't have your own design table or design wall, and I'm doing this without a design wall. I'm not going to put it up so that the whole thing shows and any of that kind of stuff. We're just going to put it together. They want you to take section 5, section 2B, and section 9. Now there is 2 of each one. Let me show you here. So here's 2. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to sew them in a row, and we're going to do it twice, so we'll end up with 2 of them. So we're going to pin it first. Now what I'm going to show you is, this is the 5, section 5, and the B. Here's the B. I'm going to lay it sideways because if you notice right here, we don't want to take our tip off, so we're going to mark this with our ruler. So I just take it, lay it down here, mark it on my fabric. I have a marking pencil here, and that's what it looks like when you get it marked. And if you've been following along, you're going to make sure that you're nestling these. So when I look at this, I'm nestling it. And this one goes to the left. This one goes to the right. So I put them up against each other like that. And I pin it like this. Just like that. I go to this end. There's nothing to be marked on this end nor the other side. I'm checking both sides now. So I'll nestle these. If you need to re-iron these because you feel uncomfortable with them, then you can re-iron them. You can iron this 1,000 times. It doesn't make a bit of difference. I'm going to come to the end. I flip this around here. I want to make sure that this end is straight. So I've turned it sideways because I want to make sure that my fabric lines up across the top here before I put my pin in. If for some reason, I'm going to show you, my fabric was like this. Let's just pretend it's like this. Alright, so let's pretend my fabric was like that. If it is, I can tell you right now this block will be distorted when I try to put these 2 sides together on the next set of blocks. So you always want to take your fabric, when you get to the end, you want to match it up, even if you have to put a pin in it like this, because you're keeping all these grains in order. And then pin it like that. And then I look and see, okay, I don't have anything at this end. I do have a little thing at this end down here, but I flipped it over and I see right here, I have to watch that corner, or that area. So I'm going to have to mark this side as well. So I'll take my pen and I'll mark it. And I don't have a problem pinning on both sides. If you want to mark it on the other side, that's fine. And I'll match it up here. Put my pin in. I'm just going to take my time when I make this. I'm going to lay this down here. Pull this up like this. And you know, y'all don't have to do it this way if you don't want to. I'm just showing you the way that I do it. And then you pin your other one. And I know that I will go ahead and I will sew from here to here. I'll stop midway. I'll flip it over. I'll start at this end, and I'll come on down and meet it. Go ahead and do your other one too. And then we're going to add number 9, section 9. We'll pin it as soon as we get these 2 sets done. Alrighty, so I am using, now this thread here that I'm using, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use polyester. Now, it doesn't make any difference whether you use polyester or cotton. I'm doing a 2.5 for my length. And let's see if I can get it started here, because it doesn't want to move. There we go. Okay, and I'll make sure that the two ends are staying as, let me take my lift off here, okay? And I'm doing a 1/4 inch, just like I did before. When I come up to my line, I'm real careful. I want to go over my line. Take my pen out here, because I don't want to go over it. You're just going to take your time, and we're going to put all this together. Now, my pen is in the other direction. I can see that because I don't see it sticking out here. So all I'm going to do is cut my thread, lift up my foot, and I'm going to flip my fabric over. And now I'm going to start it on this end. If it needs a little help, you're going to pull it a little bit. There we go. I'm going to come down to the next one I have marked. Just right here. Now I'm going to overlap my stitches, which will lock in. And if you're concerned, when you come over, decrease your length on your stitching, and it'll make teeny weeny little tiny ones, and then cut it. Don't forget to put your stitch length back up to 2.5 or 2, whatever you sew with. We'll take these two remaining pins out. We're going to go up here and we're going to go ahead and we're going to iron this one before we add the next one on. But let's go ahead and sew our other piece first. So go ahead and do that. Now it's time you mark this one. So it has a spot here. And it's going to go on top of it like this. I'm going to look on the other side, and this one has it here, so we have to mark this little spot right here. And then we are taking the two pieces that we just added, and we're going to, let me flip this over, because this is the way it looks. This is section 9. We're going to add it to this section here, so it goes like that. And then we're going to iron it towards the center. And you're going to do it on both your pieces. So now we're just pinning like I did before. So I'll take this first one. And if you've been doing it all along, the sewing and the opening, then they should match up for you. Now keep in mind, if you didn't do the 1/4 inch and your 1/4 inch is off, and you've continued to do it, it's still going to fit. Okay? The only time it doesn't fit is if one time you do a 1/4 inch and the next time you do a scant 1/4 inch, and then you do too much of a, not a 1/4 inch, but bigger than a 1/4 inch. If you're going back and forth like that, that's when these squares don't fit. But if you've been consistent and doing it all this time, they're going to fit. Now, they might not be the same exact size when you're done, but still it's going to fit. And if you feel that you need another pin in here, you can pin it as many times as you want. You can pin it once, you can pin it here and here. It's up to you. If you don't want to pin it, you could clip it, but I find that the clips are kind of heavy. So that's why I don't normally clip when I do the fabric here. So let's match this up here. And I believe my other side is the part that I marked, so let me flip it over. Because here's the part that I have marked right here. And then I'm going to put a piece about right here. And then I'm going to nestle this, put a pin in here, go to my corner. Here's where I can see that when I sewed this together, I sewed this down here because I see stitching on it. When I was putting it together, I had sewed it incorrectly. And then I'm going to put it here. And then I'll put another one here. And then, as I'm going down here, after I have sewn down, I'm going to sew along here. when I get to this one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put another pin so I can stop, because I have more fabric. And you notice it's a bit wiggly here. So I'm going to want to flip this so that this goes at the bottom feed dogs, because it'll help feed that in. So I won't get a bunch of puckers or anything. So let's go over here to the sewing machine. Let's do that one. Now when you go to iron these open and you get over there and they don't want to kind of go your direction, you can open. Okay, this is going to need a little help here. You can open your seams, and you know, you can use that little poplar press that Yvette's husband makes. You can purchase one from her Etsy shop if you want, or if you've got something else. I have the long one and the short one, so I've got both of them from her, as well as the ones that I bought a long time ago. I'm going to watch it because here comes my mark. I want to go across this, take a look at it, take my pins out, come across that. Now if you take a little bitty piece of your tip off, you don't need to panic about that. Okay, decrease my a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna flip it around. Now we'll start on this side. See if I can get it started. There we go. I accidentally have my stitch length smaller. I need to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And then we'll go over this. No, it doesn't want to go over it. There we go. And we'll cut it. Let's take a look at it. This is how far we've come. We have 2 of these finished. Here's 2 of them. Remember now, it's section 5 to the 2B to the section 9. Now we're going to set these aside because our next directions want us to make the middle. Is take the 2A that came in this packet, and we're going to take these 2A's and we're going to put them sideways. Now what you're looking for is you're looking to take these here and put them in the middle to the A, because it's matching with this one here, okay? And then when we put our next one on, we'll put it like this, so that they all match. The C's, which is my color, C, will all match. That's what we're looking at. We want to do this row next. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to sew it, and y'all can sew this. There's nothing that needs to be marked at all. We're just going to pin it and sew it. So let's do that. Now that we're finished with this strip, that's what it looks like. We want to put it to that strip. And remember now, we're going to do some marking. I can see right here where I've got to mark 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 places. So I'm going to turn it upside down. And that's the first thing I'm going to do, is just mark everywhere that I need to mark. So here's my first one. And then this one, because I had to iron this to the inside, I have to mark it. So what I do is I will mark it first, and I will go ahead, and I'm going to bring the camera a little closer so you can see. I can't come too close because I'm plugged in. So notice, not only did I go over my mark, I came off on my fabric, both sides. Over here also. Because when I turn this, because that's what it wants it going towards the outside, now I can lay this down and mark from here to across there so that I don't take off my tip. And I'll do that on the other side also. So go ahead and finish marking yours. Now if you started pinning, you're going to notice right here, both sides. Let me see if I can get you closer here. both sides need to be marked. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your pen and you're going to put it in right where you've marked it, right here. And then flip it over and take a look at it. And it should be coming right up here. You can see that. Right here where it meets. Okay. And then you're going to need to take that pen and you're going to need to go into this side right here. Like that. And you're going to put your pen straight through. And then when it's straight through like this, just like that, get my hand out of the way. When it's straight through like this, okay, that's when we're going to need to pin it, because this one's going to go down and this fabric right here needs to go down because they are nestled like that. And then you pull your pin out, and you'll have to do it when you go over here. Same thing, you'll need to put your pin in there. And so this may be off a little bit, but it may not. Like, well, no, they didn't. Either one of them ended up being out. All right, let's see. Did we have another one? No, I don't have another one. But I do have to turn this because on this side here, that one has to be marked. Back you up a little bit. I've got to mark this one on this side. Hopefully I can see it. It's in a dark blue there. But I'll watch it when I go across with my sewing machine. And we're going to nestle it. Put my pins on it. Like that. Nestle the rest of them and pin them. This one will need it also. So let me nestle it. And then I'm going to pin it on the other side. Let me flip it back over. Because this needs to be marked. Well, it is marked right there. See where it's marked? So I got the pin on the correct side here. So it'll be flipping back and forth while I sew this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you this again. Let me take the pins out. Okay, so see, I marked it here, and it wants us to iron this outward, and then this side needs it right here. But instead of marking it, what I've done is, since I have this side marked, I'll take my pen and I'm looking from my line that I made right up against the seam. I'm pushing it through so it comes out on this side. Let me turn it a little bit for you to see. So it came out here, which is the correct place to come out, right there. And then I'm going to take that pin and I'm going to stick it in right here where it meets, so that it's matching up. And see, my fabric is staying folded towards the right. It goes to the left on the top and the right on the bottom. I put my pin straight through it, just like that. Hold my pin in place, and then take me a pin and pin it. And I'll take this pin out now and pin it on this side, just like that. Although this fabric is sticking up a little bit on the top, that's okay. I know that I will not take off my point on either side, right or left, back or front. Let's take it over to the sewing machine. Let's take our time. We'll sew this. When we're done with this one, we'll attach the other piece to it. I've put a couple of pins in here, knowing that I have to stop here because I'm going to flip it to the other side. So let me cut it, and actually before I flip it, I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to continue sewing. I've already got it marked. This is the one you got to be real careful with because it's going to be on both sides. Now, you know, if it takes off a little bit of your tip, don't panic. Okay, nobody is actually going to see that. I mean, if you take off a 1/4 inch of your tip, that's going to be a different story, but if you're going to take the the bare minimum of the tip off, nobody's going to notice it. And it won't happen throughout your entire quilt, and if it does, they're just going to think that's the way it should be. I hope all these little tips that I'm giving you help you. We're going to have a bump, so I'm going to give it a little help just to guide it. There we go. And I've got to have to stop up here because my pin is the other direction, so I just come on down. Come as close as I can because I'm going to stitch over what I've stitched. So I'll take this off. I'll cut it and take it off and come over to here. Then I can go ahead and continue here. And put my pin on the right side of that fabric. There we go. Cut this one off. Now I'll flip it over, and I'm going to go ahead and I've stitched all the way down to here, so I'm going to go back here to the edge, right there, put it in, and start there and stitch to come across here. Down here, make my stitch a little smaller, and then cut it, come down to this area here. I'm going to go ahead and just put my stitch down, I guess. I can do that. Alright, start it out. Okay. And after you do the stitch up, the stitch down, you know, y'all will get used to that. Here, I don't think I marked this one, did I? I sure did not mark that, and I don't know why. But I can come across it, lower my stitch. There we go, and we're going to take a look at it. Now, if you notice, I put a lot of pins on this one. So you can never have too many pins. Of course, I might get stuck a whole bunch of times, but that's quite all right. Let me go over a little bit more. There we go. Okay. There we go. And I'm starting like about in the middle here. I didn't even start up at the end. I started right here on this side where my pins are on this side. Now I have my foot so that it doesn't go up when I stop. I don't want that to happen on this one. When you iron this, you're going to iron the middle section to the top and then the middle section to the bottom. Alrighty, so they're going opposite directions. Let's see if I can find my mark on that. Let's take this pin out. Got a bit of thickness there. Is everybody that ordered the next cotton cuts, are they all getting anxious for February when it comes out? My next one, the month, I think it's 6th if I'm not mistaken in my counting. That one's due any time now. Trying to hold this a little taut because it's got a little bit more fabric. Here we come up to a marked spot. Now, you know, you can mark this in pencil because nobody's going to see this part that's marked. It's all on the inside. There we go. I'm going to get one more stitch. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm getting ready to, I'm going to call it build my box. The box for the giveaway, for the 3,000 giveaway. And I'm wondering if you guys would make a comment below. Would you like to help me build it? And by that I mean I have a whole bunch of different items that I've already purchased. And I don't necessarily want to make this box just for beginners. I mean, of course it's going to have some fabric in it. There's no doubt about that. I don't have an issue having fabric. But my question is, would you like to help me choose some of the things that go in? In other words, is anybody interested in a pair of the gloves? Now, not the quilting gloves, but the gloves that you keep from cutting yourself when you do cutting with the rotary cutter. If you're interested in that, then let me know. If you're interested in some other things, let me know. I have a lot of things. I mean, I can even make a special pin cushion for you if you want one of those. If you've got certain pins you like or something like that, you know, give me an idea, because like I said, I got quite a few things already. I'm going to go over this spot right here because it looks like it's a little bit of wiggle. So make a comment for me so I will know whether you're interested in helping me fill that box up or not. I mean, if you're not interested, fine, I won't. But I can go ahead and do it on a live if you'd like to be involved in it. You know, I mean, I can put the heading, that box. But when it comes time to do that actual giveaway on that box, I don't think I'm going to put that in the title or anything, so that I can make sure just my subscribers are subscribing. There's a lot of spam going on. I was watching a video today. She had just made the video. I think she made it last night about 7 o'clock. Today is Monday the 28th. So I think she made it yesterday. So it must have been on Sunday that she made it. But I have noticed she had two, gosh, I don't know the word for it. The two people that made a comment, I think they said something like fantastic, or, I mean, it was just a one-word comment with some hearts. But the little thumbnail of the individual didn't have any clothes on. So I went ahead, and you know that when somebody makes a comment, you can report that. Now, the way to do it, I'm usually on my telephone or my iPad when I'm watching. Hold, let me cut this first. So instead of talking to nothing, I thought I'd talk to y'all. So anyway, there were two comments, two different pictures. So they could be the same person who made up two accounts. I don't know how people do that kind of stuff. But that stuff doesn't need to be on our comments, and that is what ruins it for other people who are scrolling through reading a comment. They don't want to see that kind of stuff. She probably wasn't aware of it, for starters, because 9 times out of 10, she has 20, I think she's got over 20,000 followers, so she gets a lot of comments. Now, this was still fairly new because she had just done it. So there was only maybe 10 comments, I want to think, about like that. So I was just scrolling through them. I do that because a lot of times, well, most times, whatever I'm going to say, somebody's already said it. So I don't even bother to say anything. But I've been following Joy for, oh my gosh, for years. But anyway, so the point is, in her video, she was giving away, well, she is giving away. She's already drawn one name for a quilt that she made, and she does long arm quilting. And then the other one, which I can't remember what the first one's called, her second quilt she actually called Pickles. This is why I remembered it, Pickles, which I thought was cute. And she's going to do that on New Year's Day. But anyway, so I went ahead and I hit the little report button. So then it gives you like 4 options. I think one said spam. The next one said something like, I think it said the P word, ends with an N. You know what it is if you're an adult. And inappropriate comment or inappropriate something, whatever it was. The second one of those 4 to 5 choices, it was the one I clicked on. And then what it does is, when you hit that, it goes to wherever, I don't know where it goes, but they look at that. So they stop it, they take it out, they hold it, and then if I'm not mistaken now, in this case, because of what I chose, they're going to delete the comment, so it won't show up at all. She won't even see it if she hasn't seen it already. The other thing is, and I've noticed this on my YouTube, because sometimes a couple of you have made comments who I know who you are, okay, because most of you are the same ones that make comments over and over. So I knew who you were. Well, whatever you said, now I wasn't offended by whatever you said, and I tried to read it and think, well, why did it get held? Well, what happens when I went into my analytics, it's sitting there, okay, and it's waiting for me to decide, do I want to delete the comment because it's inappropriate, or do I want to go ahead and have it? So I go ahead and I click have it, and then it goes up into my comments thing. So far, any one that's been held for some reason or another, I don't know if somebody has hit the report button and it went into this thing, or if it automatically went into this thing, which I don't think they do anything automatic. I mean, I'm not sure. But like I said, I look at them because I go into my analytics and I look, and then when I see stuff like that, I read it. I haven't had anything go in there that was inappropriate. That's the one thing I want to say. Now, I have had the same thing she just had, where the thumbnail has a non-dressed individual in some kind of seductive pose, and they made a comment like that. They said awesome, or, and a couple of times I have even got on there where they've put their website, which I didn't go to their website because I don't want that kind of crap on my phone and my iPad, okay? So all I did was delete it immediately, and I reported it. That was it. So if you see that on somebody's, you can report that, okay? You don't need to just ignore it. If you are totally offended by it, you can either, one, you can message the individual. I mean, I wouldn't be putting a comment in their video because they may never see it. If you know their email, you could email them. If you don't know their email or their message, you could message to one of your friends. Maybe they know them, or they know how to get in contact with them, or they can help you out to get rid of that kind of crap. That's what I call it, for lack of any other kind of term. But it's literally crap on the internet. It's people who have nothing else to do but go through videos and do that kind of thing. And then the thing is that that's the kind, when you say that you're going to do a giveaway, that's the kind of people that show up and then try to get whatever you're giving away. And they have nothing to do with the channel. They're not subscribed, or they may have just subscribed for a minute just to make a comment and then turn around and unsubscribe. If they unsubscribe, that comment still stayed there. It did not wipe it out. Okay, so that was all I had to say. It was just a little quick thing. So I just wanted to, I'll get off my darned old box there. Okay. So let me go ahead and I'm going to iron this. Now remember that the middle section we're ironing up and we're ironing it downward. So it's going both directions, okay? It's preparing us for the next thing we're going to be sewing. So, alrighty, so this is what you have so far. Gosh, isn't that pretty? This is the top over here, and that's actually the bottom. I laid it out so we could see it on the table, that's all. And now we're going to start working on the sides.